Good morning to all of our YouTube videos, YouTube followers. This is the first time that I'm using this, so I'm just testing it to see that it works. I have to go, but my name is Daley and I want to leave an interesting thought with you before I go, and I hope that you all will leave comments down below. Recently, I found out that the United States government is spending millions of dollars to develop robotic arms and limbs. They've already done it and they're still doing it for soldiers who have lost their limbs during their combat, during their military operations. These robotic arms and legs move exactly like how your real arms and legs move. And what that means is that these robotic body parts are able to understand the messages that your brain sends, just like your brain would send messages to your arms, to your legs, to make your fingers move, to make your knees bend, and so on. The, these robotic limbs are able to understand the messages that your brain sends down through your arm. But these robotic body parts store information in binary code, which is simply ones and zeros. This is how all computers operate. They use binary encoding. And so the fact that they are able to read the messages sent by our brains tells me that our brains also use the same or a very similar encoding of information. The information has to be very meaningful in order for the computer to read it and understand it. I guess this is why people like Bill Gates, who developed the Microsoft software that is so popular around the world, describe the human body as a machine, a very complex machine. And our brains, according to many scientists, is even more complex than some of the world's supercomputers. So the question that I want to leave with you is, where did the computer programming come from for our brain? You didn't make your brain. You were born with it. No human being ever made a brain. And the animals that the scientists falsely claim that we evolved from certainly didn't create their brains either. And it strikes me as bizarre that nature, the blind forces of nature, would be able, all on their own without any guiding intelligence behind it, to create such meaningful information, to create such deep programming in our brains far beyond what even some of our brightest computer programmers and technology developers have been able to create with the computers that they make. So my challenge is this, and I'm challenging all the atheists and all the agnostics out there that listen to this. Information, meaningful information, is the product of a mind. Whenever you hear Morse code, you know it could have happened by accident or by chance. It always comes, the source is always an intelligent mind behind it. If our satellites were to pick up a certain beat, a certain rhythm coming from outer space, depending on the form it takes, we will know if an intelligence is behind it. We've got certain plants in nature growing according to the Fibonacci sequence. How is it that throughout nature we find living things built on a mathematical structure? How is it that our universe itself, from the smallest atom to the largest solar system or galaxy, seems to operate according to mathematical laws? There seems to be some kind of mathematical blueprint upon which our brains, our bodies, the animals, the plants, the universe is designed. Where did this blueprint come from, if not from an intelligent mind? It seems to me that if you find the blueprints for a house, there's no way that you can speculate that it could have happened by chance, because the concept of the blueprint, even if you could have some kind of evolutionary explanation for the ink and the paper to say how nature could naturally produce ink and paper, the blueprint itself, the floor plans or the drawings for the house itself, that information is independent of the materials on which it is transcribed. So that even if you destroyed the paper, the information content could have been transposed in a different way into a different carrier. So for example, the images you look at on the computer screen are stored in the form of binary digits, ones and zeros in the computer, but it is translated by pixel colors so that you can see it in a different form when you look at the screen. And so I'm suggesting that the meaningful information, even if it takes different forms when you translate it from over here to over there, the concept of the information itself requires an intelligence. So this is something independent of what it is stored on. So that even if you were to find an evolutionary explanation for even the existence of the human body, for the existence of the brain itself, the information content, the meaningfulness of that information content, the complexity and the design, the structure, the orderliness of that information content still requires a deeper explanation, because we know that meaningful information is a product of a mind. If you see I love you written in the sand, you're not going to assume that the sea did it on its own. The water created that, the wind created that without any guiding force. Even if you were to see the wind, some kind of windstorm, create the words I love you in the sand, you're still going to have to conclude that some intelligence was behind that operation, because a blind force of nature simply can't produce such meaningful information to send meaningful messages that tell a story, that command you what to do. You need an intelligence behind that. And it just seems to me that the what I would call computer programming, if I could call it that, that goes on throughout the brain, throughout the rest of the human body, where one part is telling the other part what to do and passing on deep encoding meaningful information that is transcribed, RNA and DNA and so forth, transcribing information throughout the body to give specific commands on what each part of the body is supposed to do, from the smallest level to the largest level. Where is this information coming from? The entire blueprint of your entire body was found in the first cell of your body. Where did that come from? And so I will challenge right now every atheist and every agnostic out there listening to this to a live debate or discussion about it, because it strongly says to me that the meaningful information found in our brains, in our DNA, and so on, is indeed evidence of a grand designer that put this all together. And this is why the Bible says that the fool has said in his heart there is no God, because it's foolish to imagine that such information could have arisen by chance through the blind forces of nature. And so I just want to leave that thought with you, and I'm glad that this live stream is actually working, and I hope and I trust that we'll be able to do this again. Thank you. You have a blessed day.